Hey, g'day and welcome back. Regular subscribers will have seen my video from about a month ago explaining that I've signed up with Amber Electric to have my electricity supplied at wholesale prices. And hey, thanks for the feedback. You correctly pointed out that wholesale electricity prices are adjusted by the generators at 5-minute intervals. They change in the Amber app every 30 minutes. Also, I was expecting to get my first invoice at the end of the first 3 months. However, Amber Electric invoice monthly. I guess they're carrying the cost of all this wholesale electricity they're purchasing, so it's in their interests to bill their end users more frequently. So I now have my Amber Electric bill for the periods of mid-February to mid-March and mid-March to mid-April 2024. which in New South Wales, Australia, is the end of summer and into early autumn. And as I know some of you will want to skip right to the end of the video to find out the result, let me tell you right up front that Amber Electric wholesale pricing has not turned out to be as attractive as I'd hoped. So let me explain why. If you have not watched my previous video, let me give you a quick recap. When we purchase electricity at the retail price, the electricity retailer fixes that price for the period of the contract, and they absorb the highs and lows of the changing generation price. The retailer charges the customer a fixed contract price. When you move to wholesale electricity pricing, you're exposed to the generator's changing price. This changes every 5 minutes based on supply and demand, and Amber Electric average that out and change the price to you, the end user, every 30 minutes. This means that the price can vary considerably from much lower than you might normally pay to extreme situations where the cost can get close to $20 per kilowatt hour. However, there is a facility known as the government reference price. Amber Electric agreed to not charge us more than 9% over the government reference price. So as a wholesale end user, your electricity prices are capped at 38 cents per kilowatt hour. When I first signed up with Amber Electric, I was watching the notifications carefully, and on one occasion it looked as if it would cost me $30 to cook my dinner. So I decided to go to the bowling club instead. However, I did realise that the government reference price protected me against being charged anything more than 38 cents per kilowatt hour. It does work in my favour in the opposite direction, however. When there is a surplus of electricity in the system, the wholesale price goes below zero, and on more than one occasion I was actually being paid to consume electricity. So I used that opportunity to charge my Tesla. There was a short period in March when I was away from home, and then again in April I was away from home for over 2 weeks, visiting Japan. During this time, the only electricity being consumed was from standby appliances like my TV and my refrigerator. So I was able to export nearly 100% of the solar energy that I produced. So you would think that over a period of a month where I was away from home for a large portion of that time, and we are right at the end of summer heading into autumn, so there is still plenty of solar generation, you would think that my cost of using wholesale electricity would be quite low. However, here are my first monthly bills, and let me describe them to you. Okay, so let's take a look at this first bill from Amber Electric. It covers the period from the middle of February until the middle of March 2024, and the total net amount is $86.43. Amber provide these pale blue boxes to explain their invoice, and the bill is made up of usage charges, network daily supply charges, and Amber's fee for running the business. So you can see in this first period of 29 days that the average cost for electricity was 30.02 cents per kilowatt hour. Now with Origin Electric I was paying 35 cents fixed rate. There's a network daily supply charge of 83 cents a day and Amber's commission of $16.47 for the month. The total comes to over $111 before we take off the credit for my solar exports, and you can see I exported 377 kilowatts and got an average rate of 6.78 cents per kilowatt hour. With Origin, I was on a flat rate of 10 cents per kilowatt hour exported. Now when we look at the next page of this bill, you can see a more detailed breakdown. So you've got a general usage fee, network charges and other charges that Amber pass on, including environmental certificates that they purchase under government schemes, market charges that are paid to the market operator to balance the grid, and price protection hedges that Amber purchased to guarantee I don't have to pay anything more than the government reference price. There's also a line item for green power offsets because I've elected to use 100% renewable energy. The daily supply charges are there, and they are passed on directly from the energy transmission company. When we go to the next page, the detailed breakdown of the credits is simply confirming 377 kilowatt hours exported at 6.78 cents. And in the final page of the bill is some utilisation data that will be more useful when I've been using Amber for a longer period of time. With the second bill that I have from Amber, it shows the accumulating total from the previous bill plus new energy consumption for the period 18th of March to the 17th of April 2024. So looking more deeply into this, in the second month my utilisation was down at 148 kilowatt hours, and this is partially explained by the fact that I was in Japan for 2 weeks. Solar exports were up, again primarily because I wasn't at home utilising the energy. However, I only averaged 3.42 cents per kilowatt hour of solar exports compared to 6.78 cents in the previous period. So you can see on the next page the breakdown of the charges as in my first bill, with the utilisation network charges, environmental certificates, green power market charges and price protection hedging. You can also see the network supply charges and Amber's fee again for the period, which was $17.60. On the last page you can see the utilisation graph, which now covers 2 billing periods over 3 months, from February to April. So what have I learned from being an Amber Electric customer for 2 billing periods now? My total bill cost for 60 days is $163.08. My final bill from Origin Electric was $222.62 for an 89-day period. So that's about $2.48 per day. So if I'd stayed with Origin, my total power bill for the same 2-month period would have been $148.73. That's less than changing to Amber. Now, I appreciate this is not a very scientific comparison. Firstly, we are comparing different months and seasons during the year between Origin and Amber, although they are primarily across the summer and autumn months, where we do have significant amounts of sunshine in New South Wales. Also, I have been away from home for a relatively extended period, and that clearly has lowered my energy consumption. But I think it's a reasonable assumption that if I'd not been away from home, my Amber electricity bill would have been fairly close to the same price, or even more, than I was paying with Origin Electric. Well, so what am I going to do? Well, I'll persevere with Amber Electric, and I think to really get maximum value out of wholesale electricity pricing, you need to have a battery in your home. I've been using my Tesla to soak up surplus electricity when it's been available and when it's been cost effective to do so. But of course I'm not always at home, and the Tesla's not always ready to take on surplus electricity either. So this has been my experience. Yours may be very different depending on where you live and the amount of solar generation that you have. But it also depends, I think, on whether or not you have a battery in your home. So look, I hope this has been useful. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe. Cheers. G'day and welcome to Steve's Tesla. This is my channel dedicated to electric vehicles and renewable energy. Subscribe now and let's drive.